She was born in darkness. Not the kind of darkness humans imagined when they closed their eyes, but a deeper one. An absence so complete that it had never known light, shadow, color, or form. On the world of Elyra, where twin suns painted the skies in endless hues and the stars burned brighter than anywhere else in the spiral arm, blindness was almost unheard of. To be born without sight on Elyra was considered a cosmic mistake. Her name was Elyra. From the moment she emerged into the world, the healers knew something was wrong. Her species, the Eri, were beings of heightened perception. Their eyes were not merely organs of vision, but complex crystalline structures capable of seeing across electromagnetic spectra. They could read stellar radiation, sense gravitational waves, and even glimpse faint echoes of the past written in starlight. Elyra saw nothing. No light, no warmth of color, no dancing patterns in the sky that defined Eri culture. The healers whispered. The elders debated. Some called it a genetic anomaly, others a bad omen. Elyra's mother held her close and listened to her heartbeat, refusing to believe the murmurs. Her father said nothing at all, staring at the glowing ceiling of the birthing chamber with a look that suggested the universe had betrayed him. In Eri society, sight was not merely a sense, it was identity. Children learned to read the stars before they learned language. Stories were not spoken but painted across the sky with light projectors and stellar reflections. The blind had no place in such a world. And yet, Elyra lived. She learned early that her world was built for eyes she did not have. She learned the rhythm of footsteps instead of faces. She memorized voices, textures, vibrations in the air. She learned to navigate by sound and subtle changes in temperature. She learned patience, because everything took longer when the universe refused to show itself to you. Other children were not cruel at first. They were curious. They waved glowing tendrils in front of her face and asked what she saw. "I hear you," Elyra would reply softly. Eventually, curiosity turned to discomfort. Discomfort turned to distance. By the time Elyra reached maturity, she lived on the edges of Eri society, physically present, culturally invisible. She spent her days in the lower observation terraces, places few others visited anymore. There, massive resonance platforms translated stellar data into sound and vibration for research purposes. Elyra loved those platforms. When she rested her hands on the crystalline rails, the stars sang to her. She could not see them, but she could feel them. It was there, on one such cycle, that she met the human. His name was Jonah Hale. He arrived on Elyra as part of a human-led interspecies research exchange. Humanity was still considered young by galactic standards, short-lived, emotionally volatile, and dangerously curious. But humans had something rare. They asked questions no one else thought to ask. Jonah was an astrophysicist, a specialist in stellar perception and alternative sensory interpretation. He had spent years studying how different species experience the cosmos, fascinated by the idea that reality itself might be subjective. When he first encountered Elyra, he didn't know who she was. He only noticed that she stood alone, hands resting on a resonance rail, head tilted upward as if listening to the sky. "You hear it too," he said casually, unaware of how unusual his words were. Elyra stiffened. Most people ignored her presence entirely. "Yes," she replied carefully. "The stars are restless today." Jonah smiled, though she couldn't see it. "They usually are." They spoke for hours that first meeting. Jonah asked questions about how the resonance platforms felt, how she navigated without sight, how the universe sounded to her. He never once asked what it was like to be blind. That alone made him different. When he learned the truth, learned that Elyra had never seen light in her life, He didn't recoil or grow quiet. Instead, he grew thoughtful. "Would you like to?" he asked one day. "Like to what?" "See the stars." Elyra laughed softly, a sound edged with sadness. "That is not possible." Jonah didn't argue. He simply said, "Maybe not the way you think." Human technology was strange to the Eri. Where Eri tech focused on harmony and natural resonance, human inventions were blunt, experimental, and deeply personal. Jonah requested permission to work with Elyra, framing it as a cross-species sensory study. The elders agreed, mostly because they did not believe anything would come of it. Jonah spent weeks scanning Elyra's neural pathways, mapping how her brain interpreted sensory input. Her visual cortex was inactive, but not dead. It had never been trained, never stimulated. "It's like an unopened door," Jonah murmured to himself. "What does that mean?" Elyra asked. "It means your mind might be capable of seeing if we teach it how." The process was slow and exhausting. Jonah developed a neural interface that translated stellar data, light, radiation, color, into patterns Elyra's brain could process. Not directly into images, but into structured experiences. At first, there was only confusion,
pain,
overwhelming noise. Elyra nearly quit more than once. But Jonah stayed. He talked her through every step, every failure. He described the stars as humans saw them, not scientifically, but emotionally. "They're not just balls of plasma," he said one night as they sat beneath the open sky. "They're memories. Each one is light that's been traveling for millions of years just to reach us." Elyra listened. For the first time in her life, she wanted more than understanding.
She wanted to see.
The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a rare stellar convergence, Jonah activated the interface at full capacity. Elyra gasped as something new unfolded within her mind. Not sound, not touch, but something else. Contrast.
Depth. Form.
She screamed, not in pain, but in shock. Jonah panicked, rushing to shut the system down. "No!" Elyra cried. "Don't stop." Tears streamed down her face as her mind struggled to process what it was experiencing. "What do you see?" Jonah whispered. I don't know," she said breathlessly. "It's not sound. It's not shape. But it's beautiful." Over the following cycles, the sensations sharpened. Elyra's brain learned, adapted. One evening, as the twin suns set, Jonah asked softly, "Tell me what's in front of you." Elyra turned her face toward the sky. "There are lights," she said slowly. "So many. Some are small. Some feel distant. They're not touching me, but I can feel where they are." Jonah's hands trembled. "You're seeing stars," he said. Elyra smiled. For the first time in her life, the universe had form. But miracles are never free. The elders grew uneasy. Elyra was changing, not just gaining sight, but perspective. She questioned traditions. She challenged the belief that sight defined worth. Others like her, those with sensory differences, those long ignored, began coming forward. Change frightened the Eri. The council demanded Jonah's work be halted. "This technology disrupts our natural order," they declared. "It creates dependency. It alters identity." Jonah argued. Elyra stood beside him. "You taught me that the stars belong to no one," she said to the council. "Not even you." The decision was swift. Jonah was ordered to leave Eralis. The interface was to be dismantled. Elyra was to return to her assigned role. That night, Jonah found Elyra waiting at the observation terrace. "I won't forget them," she said quietly, "even if I never see them again." Jonah swallowed hard. "You shouldn't have to." He hesitated, then made a choice that would change both their lives. "Come with me." They left Eralis under a sky blazing with stars. Life among humans was overwhelming for Elyra, noisy, chaotic, emotionally raw. But humans did not look away from her. They asked questions. They listened. Jonah continued refining the interface. Over time, Elyra's mind grew stronger, her perception richer. She learned color, motion, expression. One day, standing before a viewport on a human starship, she turned to Jonah. "Is that blue?" she asked, pointing toward a distant nebula. Jonah laughed, tears in his eyes. "Yes," he said. "That's blue." Years passed. Elyra became something new, not fully airy, not fully human. A bridge. A voice for those who experience the universe differently. She spoke before councils. She taught scientists. She told her story. And always, she spoke of the moment a human showed her the stars, not as an act of charity, but of understanding. The ending on the anniversary of her first sight, Elyra returned to Eralis. The elders were older, the world unchanged. But Elyra was no longer invisible. She stood beneath the twin suns, eyes open, unafraid. "I was born blind," she said to the gathered crowd. "But blindness was never my weakness. Fear was." She looked to the sky, truly looked. "The universe does not belong to those who see it first," she continued. "It belongs to those who choose to share it." Beside her, Jonah stood quietly, watching her shine. Above them, the stars burned on, ancient, patient, waiting for anyone willing to truly see them. And for the first time in Eralis history, the darkness no longer meant exclusion. It meant possibility.